So in preparation of the 24th of September National Heritage Day, or as some like to call it, Braaidag, Nationale Braaidag, we're about to braai some fish, something that I'm not used to at all, so it's going to be a bit of a learning curve for me today. Stay tuned, we're about to braai.
Groot rugby gaan saam met 'n lekker braai. Dis die reg Suid-Afrikaanse kombinasie, soos jy en Pick n Pay.
So I was talking to our guest chef a couple of seconds ago, telling him when it comes to fish, I prefer it rather traditional. I've never really taken it and put it on a braai, you know, kind of did it the traditional way in that sense. But he's about to change my mind. Pete Goffe-Wood, welcome. Good morning. Good to see you again.
Excellent. Good to see you, Kat.
I see that we've both experienced the same adverse growth of chest hair.
Oh yes, it's got this great little outgrowth that's yeah. Well,
right.
As you can see, take it where you can get it when it comes to the hair.
And I'm loving the Springbok jersey, by the way.
Ah, well, I figured Heritage Day, braaiing. We've got the rugby on this week, so the least we could do is come out in our colours, and I'm glad I dressed accordingly. It's nice and fresh.
It's a fresh morning out here.
It's a fresh morning out here, indeed.
All right, so what are we making today? What kind of fish?
Well, we're going to do some angelfish. There's a lot of it about at the moment, and it's sustainable. It's on the Sassy Green list, so there's plenty of it about. And it's a beautiful fish. It's these nice big fillets we've got here, cook quite quickly on the braai.
Yes.
So ideal fish dish. We're going to do it with a bit of asparagus. We're going to keep it quite simple.
Over there, that's our asparagus.
We've got some new potatoes which we cooked in advance.
All right.
We're just going to warm those through, and then we're going to make a dressing with some flat leaf parsley and some roasted garlic, a little bit of lemon juice and some salt and pepper.
Lovely, the roasted garlic which we have in here, and I assume I'm going to be bashing into this. But okay, let's get going. I'm keen to learn right now.
Okay, well the first thing we do is going to get our asparagus on
the
braai. Now, traditionally asparagus often blanched in cold water and refreshed afterwards. But when you're doing it on the braai, you can actually do it straight on the braai.
Okay, so that gives you kind of a different texture, doesn't it?
It gives it a nice little smokiness to it. And it also, you have to get it on first because it actually takes longer than the fish does. So you put the salt and pepper on there.
There we go. And of course, if you'd like to have the ingredients SMS to your phone, all you have to do is SMS the keyword FISH to 33728. FISH, F-I-S-H. Okay, there we go. At this moment, your fire obviously would be right and ready for the braai, and you'd have them there.
Yeah, look, we've got also the secret to cooking fish is a spotlessly clean grid and nice and hot. Okay. Often what happens is the fish has a tendency to stick. That's why clean grid is essential, and stinking hot. So we've got that. So we'll just get
stinking hot. I like that. Okay, there we go. Olive oil onto the fish.
Lashings of olive oil.
In terms of preparing it before the time, is there anything you have to do?
Well, not really. I mean, you buy this; it comes filleted. You know, your fishmonger will prepare it for you. So there's not a great deal. We've just trimmed up some little bits of flaps and bits and pieces. So we've got nice fillet pieces here, which we'll bung on the grid just a couple minutes from the asparagus tree. But what we're going to start working on here is our garnish, our sauce. Now
Can we help you out with that?
Yep.
So I'll be getting. This is our. What kind of garlic is this? What do we do to our garlic?
We've roasted the garlic. We put it in a hot oven, 180 degrees for about 20 minutes, just to soften it up. And one of the reasons we do that is that it takes off that sort of harsh, potent garlic flavour.
Okay.
And it gives a nice, rich, beautiful taste of things. Yeah, I think maybe get a bit of grip on that.
Okay.
And this is quite simple, this dressing. Let me just add some lemon juice to that.
Lemon juice going in.
Lemon juice.
That bit of a tinge that you need. Okay.
And then lashings of olive oil.
Lashings of olive oil.
Well, it's very, very good for your olive oil.
There we go.
And that's it. It's a beautifully simple dressing, and it's fantastic for any grilled fish. Works nicely with this one that we've got going on the moment, but it's good with tuna, with salmon. It really is an ideal dressing for grilled fish. Yeah. I'm going to pop these fillets on the braai now.
You do that. This is the part where I actually have to watch very carefully because, like I say, I'm not really an expert when it comes to braaiing fish.
And ideally, what we want to do is not play with the fish too much. So you turn our asparagus over, we're starting to get some nice little grill marks on our asparagus.
Yes.
Asparagus is starting to soften up. What we don't want is where we do normally with meat, we turn it a couple of times, we would with chops or anything steak along those lines. Fish, leave it, we'll turn it once. We don't want it to break up and start to fall apart.
Oh, of course, yeah. It is a bit of a delicate meat, isn't it?
Yeah. We want to keep it nice and sexy.
If you've just tuned in, the keyword to SMS to get the ingredients of this recipe is FISH, F-I-S-H, to 33728, and you'll get them there. And of course on our website as well.
I'm just going to warm some of these potatoes. We cooked these in advance earlier.
Yes.
So we're just going to get some little grill marks on them, warm them through on the braai.
Ah, lovely.
The salt and pepper on there.
So how do you know when the sauce is ready? Because I'm bashing away and I'm not really sure if my technique
Okay,
is...
let's have a squiz.
Man. I'm getting a bit of a lazy arm going now.
It's nice and pasty, which you want. If you don't have the time or the inclination to do this in a pestle and mortar, you could also just do it in a food processor, in a blitzer. But this has got a little bit more authentic.
You can always have it out with the boys and see who can keep it up the longest before getting their arms
Very
tired.
true, very true. And let's have a little taste of that. See if we.
Of course, the tasting is always
The
important.
tasting all important. And another squeeze of lemon.
All right.
There we go.
Okay. So what other kind of, let's say, herbs would you use? Because we just did the parsley. We spoke about parsley now and how good it could be for your liver recovery the next day. So maybe you might want to make this, but if you wanted to have other herbs.
You could also use things like the softer herbs. Coriander would work perfectly with this. Maybe coriander with a little bit of addition of chili. But these this is a classic combination, parsley and garlic. Tend to cancel each other out in terms of smells and tastes. So what you've got with this dressing is quite a nice balance. Just a little piquancy from the lemon. And now let's...
Oh man, nice. I'm actually quite proud of myself now. That's actually your work. What's happening with our fish then?
Okay, our fish is nearly ready to be turned over, and our asparagus is ready to come off. As we can see, it's just nice and soft, as you would. So
juicy.
Yeah.
Okay,
So
there
we're
we
going
go.
to just get that on the plate.
Presentation all important. Or is it really at this time? I mean, when you're watching the rugby, you don't really care about presentation, do you?
Well, I think presentation plays a large part, but one doesn't want to fiddle with the food too much. He says throwing the asparagus all over the place. And so we're just warming our potatoes through.
Yeah. Okay. So at this point in time, I'd probably be scared that the fish is burning.
I think a general indication of the fish is if we have a look at it closer here, you'll start to see that around the outsides it's starting to go white.
Okay.
So that's what we get an indication that it's cooking, it's starting to cook through. And we just want to loosen it up a little bit.
Oh,
Flip that over.
beautiful. And is it the kind of fish that you'd like to have, like you said, cooked through essentially?
Well, I think cook through is probably the wrong term. Is you want it so that it's not raw in the middle. And a good way of tasting that is to put your fingers on it.
Yes.
And what you can feel is start to feel a slight bubbling. You can almost feel this what
yes.
that means is the internal juices are getting to almost boiling point.
Yes.
So it's cooking inside.
Okay.
So now we know that it's going to be warm inside, it's going to be warm right the way through, but it's not going to be overcooked.
Okay,
so
cool.
we just want to do a couple of seconds on the other side. Oh, and now we're going to...
It's a very delicate meat to work with. Wow, you've got to be quick on your toes.
Yeah.
So no tongs for this one.
No, not for this one. As I say, we're going to be quite delicate, and this is why we're using the lifter. And as I say, the fish cooks quite quickly, so it's important that we had the garnish and the sauce ready beforehand. If we were doing meat but we wanted to let it rest afterwards, we were able to then fool around and get our garnish together. But we really want it to retain its heat,
Nice.
and we want to basically serve it the moment we are ready to go.
I think I can actually still hear it bubbling underneath.
Okay, and so
There
now
goes
we...
our sauce.
Oh, lovely green
Man.
parsley, roasted garlic, lemon.
And that's a way of integrating
dressing.
some green into your braai, because most people, like, there's chicken should be your vegetable.
This is it. This is it.
Boerewors, it should be meat all the way, but this is a nice way of integrating it. My word.
There we go.
My word. Look at that. Easy as you like it. Fish, the keyword to 33728 to get those ingredients. And of course, the website also has the ingredients and the recipe, the preparation. Peter, thank you very, very much. Enjoyed. I've got a taste, mate. You can't
No,
just
you got to get stuck in there.
You can't just have
the
that.
proof of the pudding is always in getting tucking into that.
Let's do that. Here we go. Okay. I'm trying to take the back so I don't make it. Oh my gosh. Okay, big pieces came off. The sauce is most important to me right now. Man. Yes.
Okay, there we go.
Sir, thank you very much. Really appreciate it.
Always a pleasure.
We'll see you right after this break.
Cheers.
Stay with eXpresso and SABC3.